All right, today is August 18th, 2021. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. Let's go down our 122 release status. Looks like we got most of our sidecars in. We still have external health monitor.
Yeah, that just has the one pending change. So
okay, sounds good. And then we have liveness probe.
Yeah, I saw there was one outstanding PR, but it sounds like that requires a larger effort to fix. And so I think we can go ahead with the release. Prepare the change logs, PR, and that's in review.
All right, awesome, thank you. Then we have the data source repos.
So I I had hoped to get to these today, but I looked at my calendar and saw that like I have meetings all day. So maybe tomorrow.
All right, no problem. Did you get the release tools thing sorted out?
Well, there's many release tools things. Like I was able to update the repo to the latest, but I still need to be able to test. And there's the infra patch that I need to make that I don't know how to do. That's the other piece. But the release tools is not so much of a concern because there's things I can just copy from to get the same effect. So yeah, the release tools are not the problem as much as what is the rest of the process. And Xing has volunteered to help me with that. I realize I don't have a time slot today, unless maybe very, very late in the day.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. All right. Sounds good. I think next we have CSI test. I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, on CSI test. So I know in some previous discussions here, we're talking about trying to get the node publish volume tests wrapped up prior to launch. I've been working on this for a bit now, and it's taking me a bit longer than expected to try and get this implemented and also added to a CSI driver. And I don't know if I have the cycles to complete this in time for launch. So I'm wondering if it would be okay if I can tackle this kind of like asynchronously from the release of CSI test.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, this is a alpha feature, so I think that's fine. We can go ahead and if there's changes, other bug fixes made in CSI test, we can go ahead and do a release. I guess.
So the status. I have a question. Are we not using the mock driver anymore? Everything will be in the host path driver. Is that the case? I forgot what is the status around that.
The status is indeed that we only use the CSI driver host path. The mock driver is deprecated, and we just need to decide how long we want to have it in the CSI test repo. We could remove it now, and the next release then wouldn't have it anymore.
Okay, did we actually mark anywhere saying it's deprecated?
Yes, it should be in the last CSI test release notes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Can I ask?
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a real quick question. Can I ask what is the launch that's being referred to? Is this the release of CSI test or some other launch? Are we launching a bunch of things? Or?
No, I mean, I guess what I was referring to is releasing CSI test, and I thought maybe there was an expectation.
No, the CSI test doesn't really have a release schedule. It's not usually tied to a Kubernetes release unless there is a reason to add a new test or do some changes. So in the past, we've also done intermediate updates if necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, the main thing that would drive a release of CSI test would be like a rev of the CSI spec with some new feature that we wanted to add tests for.
Yeah, or bug fixes or anything that usually would trigger a new release for an independent project.
Right.
Yeah. So I think at this point, I think Chris is saying that with the he probably won't have time immediately to add the CSI tests for the new access mode changes. So then if we want to do a CSI test release around now, it would only be for doing bug fixes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. I guess maybe we should evaluate that. Can someone take a look at CSI test and kind of see what changes have been done there and if it's worth doing a release?
I can take a look at this.
I just had a quick look and I don't think there is anything relevant. The mock driver actually got updated with single node multi-writer capabilities, but I don't think we need that anywhere. Everything else is release tools, updates, and those were just done automatically. I don't think we need them in practice.
Okay, so there were no bug fixes
No.
that went in?
No.
Okay, then I guess no need for a release this. All right.
And this new feature, this rewrite once pod access, this added to the, so the host path driver supports this, or is it?
I don't think it's been added yet.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not
All right. Okay. Next up, we have CSI Proxy.
Yes, still like a pending. I'm going to join the work group meeting this afternoon to bring it up to promote the binary. So that's the only thing left there.
Cool. All right. Thank you. And then last we have host path driver. I guess we're still pending I guess the health monitor and liveness probe, so we can wait for those two before updating the host path driver. That's fine. All right, and then I guess these two. I mean, we already talked about them. Anything else to discuss today?
Oh, do we actually have to wait for the house monitor? I thought we disabled that task. Did we?
I think we disabled it in Kubernetes, but I think we're still running it in our
okay, sure.
CSI tests, because it only ended up being an issue, I think, in the scalability jobs, which
okay,
we don't. Yeah.
Okay, so we still wait for that. That's fine. Okay.
There's one question I had for Xing, actually, regarding the topic that we talked about last time on Monday about vSphere CSI driver having the issue of installing V1 beta 1 CRDs. I don't know if this is the best forum to chat about it, and feel free to defer it to an offline chat if needed. But I was wondering if it would be possible to kind of add that fix to either the 2.3 version or a 2.3 patch release version before the 2.4. And the reason for that is if a user were to upgrade from a 1.21 distro to 1.22, and it depending on the installation ordering of the CSI driver versus the control plane upgrade, we may end up in a situation where, because I know that the CRD is installed by the driver image itself inside the code, rather than being part of the driver manifest files. If a driver gets updated after the control plane, then during an upgrade, we'll end up in a brief downtime, brief moment of downtime when the control plane is upgraded. The CSI driver is still in a previous version, and so the new V1 CRD would not be installed. And so if we had that fixed in a patch version in the CSI driver, we can potentially deploy that driver earlier before we move to 122.
Are you saying normally the normal case is deploy Kubernetes first? But I think that's going to fail, right? Isn't it? Because 1.22 does not support the beta version and is not going to fail immediately. That's what we're trying to figure out. I initially thought it shouldn't matter. But then I thought if we actually deploy, if we actually upgrade the Kubernetes first to 1.22, then isn't that going to fail immediately?
Right.
Driver,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the driver has to go first, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, in like a HA upgrade scenario, like usually the version before needs to be compatible with like the next Kubernetes version. So like the version of the driver for 121 should be able to support a V1 CRD.
Yeah, no, but I was
why wouldn't the control plane upgrade also fix the CRD as part of that? I mean, when you move from an older version of the snapshot controller to the newer version of snapshot controller, you also have to upgrade the CRD as part of that. I would assume that whatever automation is doing the snapshot controller upgrade would take care of the CRD too.
The problem in this case is the CRD is actually being installed by the driver. It's not being installed by the cluster.
Yeah, and that shouldn't
admin.
happen. I think we all agree on that, right? That's not the way you should do it. But if you do it wrong.
No, we're not talking about snapshot here. Don't talk about snapshot. We're talking. So this is the problem with the vSphere CSI driver's own CRDs. Not
own CRDs, not the snapshot
not
CRD.
Own snapshot.
No. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the snapshot CRD. Never mind.
Yeah, because our existing vSphere CSI driver uses V1 beta 1 CRD, and then now 1.22 does not support that anymore. So that's a problem. So I think we have to get a version that supports it, and then upgrade the driver first, and then upgrade Kubernetes, because otherwise,
yeah. So that I think Chang was suggesting that, like, once we get a version of the driver that supports V1, we should backport that change to the previous version of the CSI driver. That way we can actually support an HA upgrade scenario when you upgrade from 121 to 122.
But still you will have to update the driver, right? Yeah, so right now
Correct.
The problem, yeah, I'm still talking to them, have not got any result yet. Yeah, so I have not got the result of saying we can have something that is before 2.4 yet. Trying to, but right now, so it's not under my control. I would like that to be out early. So I'm still talking to them about this. This is just the testing process is, just not flexible.
But the fix, let's say the PR is not yet kind of prepared. So basically the fix is just in the vSphere CSI driver, right? Everywhere you mentioned the V1 beta 1, you can just.
Yeah, it's in the driver, but when you update the driver, then those CRDs should, we will have a procedure. So the CRD will be.
Right, but in open source side, right, is that PR being blocked by anything? Like
the PR you mean submitted by, I think someone, Fabio submitted PR. I think that PR, we are still, I need to check with that guy. I think he has some, last time I checked, he has some questions. Not sure if that's answered. I think he was asking how Fabio tested. Is Fabio in the school?
Yeah. So I think someone from VMware is reviewing that PR.
Yeah, he's the one who is actually looking at how to do this. So I think he's just trying to figure out like what is a safe way of upgrading, so we don't really break anything. Like the order of upgrade is important. Which one to go first? I think that's why he was asking you those questions, just to see what kind of testing I've done. I think I haven't looked at the latest one, but I remember seeing some comments from him. So
okay, I guess maybe would it help if maybe like we had more people test the change to verify the various upgrade scenarios?
That will help, but still like our. So the thing is, they don't want to claim support unless everything, all the tests in our test metrics are done by our QE. That's the thing. So because you wouldn't be able to test all of those, right? So that's the thing. They're afraid of breaking, because I think we had some bad experiences with there are sometimes some upstream changes. We run into some of those upstream changes and then take a long time to figure out what's going on. And so they're very hesitant of just to go to the next release without thorough testing. And that's also why it takes so long. Still talking to them. So yeah, have not.
Yeah, but I mean, if we can offer, say like, we can test specific upgrade scenarios.
Yeah, actually, I think definitely will help. Yeah, so I think
behaviors.
Like, for example, like on Fabio's PR, if you guys can help testing, I think there was some question there. How does the testing, right? If you listed, hey, this is my testing results, this is steps and the result, then that will help us as well to at least get that PR merged. I think that is, hopefully. Because that will be before QE testing, right? Because you first want to get merged. QE will test when everything's merged. So if you guys can actually help testing that PR, we can maybe try to get that one merged in the master at least.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. We can take a look at that.
Yeah, also I think I've created an issue for vSphere CSI driver to create a CI job that would, a pre-submit job that would test the changes submitted in PRs. That would be very
that also helpful. I also brought that up, but that's also like kind of a long-term thing, because just to, it takes a long. It's new. It takes a long time. It's definitely we should do it. So everybody agrees we should do it, but then they were like, oh, okay, we need more resources. Still trying to figure out some of the open, there were some drugs open for QE side. Yeah, so definitely that's something that we should do. Nobody's saying no, it's just like when we get time and resource to add those, definitely I think we should. So I think we'll have meetings again. I think I just had meetings with them like maybe 2 days ago. I'm supposed to have some more meetings to talk about this.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. Yeah, I can look into the PR and see what kind of testing we can help with on our end. And in terms of timeline, I think if it ends up being possible that QE is able to do the testing, qualify a little earlier, if there is a driver version that contains the fix by like early September, I think that will be really greatly appreciated. And I can help.
Right. Oh, I don't think September. That's like.
That's a little tough.
2 weeks.
Okay.
I think September is possible. I do have a question though. And there was another question. I think I got some questions when I brought this up. They're saying they are looking at other drivers. Looks like they are also only supporting older releases. So so this is like asking us to do forward support. How do we do that? So I'm actually wondering.
I don't know which other drivers you're looking at.
I think they
least
look at maybe like AWS or some whatever driver that are out there. So maybe I can actually ask if you. I think your driver actually says 1.17 and higher, right? Isn't it?
So at least GCE drivers we test it regularly against head of Kubernetes and head of all the sidecars, and so whenever something changes in the sidecars or Kubernetes, we know ahead of time before we actually cut releases.
So do you release your driver like every time following the Kubernetes release? How's your release?
No, our driver is not completely tied to releases. We actually, like, one version of the driver can support like 3 or 4 Kubernetes releases.
Okay.
So we actually, every version of our driver, we test against 3 or 4 Kubernetes versions, including head.
Okay, so you only release that when, like, there is a bug that requires.
Yeah, we release when there's like features or bug fixes that we want to do, but we don't really release according to Kubernetes schedules. Because our driver is backwards and forwards compatible with across many Kubernetes versions.
So basically, because you test that continuously, so let's say this type of issue, let's say you detect that and you just fix it, and so you can release that. But you don't go through like months of a QE cycle because it's continuously tested. Okay, yeah, I think that's with our testing process, it's really hard to adjust anything new. Yeah, I think we probably also look at it like maybe AWS or something. Some other drivers, they probably only support older versions. That's, I think.
I remember when talking to Matt, he said there was a lot of difficulty trying to test against head because of the way that I think they're using cops for testing, and I think cops can't really test against head or something like that. I don't remember.
Right. I think the deployment, right? Something has to release first, then you use that distro, right? So the same thing, but we usually use the kubeadmin. You wouldn't get that before it's released.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah. And Ben, what about you guys? You test it like after it's released or before?
So all of our tests are automated and
against the head?
No, I was going to say with regard to like Kubernetes versions, typically the best we'll get is a test on RC when the RC is cut.
Oh, so you actually test RC. So you at least that
right. When the RC happens, we test that, and then the post release get tested as well.
Okay.
And we test older versions, and we haven't had too many problems with
yeah, so our problem is because we kind of delayed the CRD. We were using the 1 beta 1, but then suddenly in 1.22 it's no longer supported. So okay.
Yeah. You mean the version of CRDs?
So like the
custom resource.
Yeah. That one.
The version
the beta thing is no longer supported, right? But we have been using that beta version for long time. And then suddenly it got removed. So I think we didn't realize this one earlier until kind of late, kind of like a few weeks before the 1.22 GA. So
yeah, I think definitely from the Kubernetes side, there could be improvements made on like making deprecations and their timelines more searchable from like one place. I think it's all like scattered across release notes.
The way we avoided that particular pitfall was just by reading the release notes, and there's a section in every release notes that says no, you must really read this.
But if you you're reading that for the next release basically, because did they announce that in 1.21 release notes?
No, like way back when it was deprecated. Like they said, this
but
was
the thing is, when it's deprecated, it's still supported, right? That's a problem. I think.
Yeah, but no. The CRD beta 1 removal was announced well ahead, and I think very well. Like with every API request, you got a warning.
Yeah, if you will not
work.
Yeah, but we actually so there was one project, right? The vSphere plugin. I changed that to V1 like last year. And then I was asked to change it back to 1 beta 1 because they want to support very, very, very old Kubernetes version.
Yeah. So what you have to do in those situations is have switches to use both. Like if it's old, use the beta. If it's new, use the V1.
Yeah, that's kind of
It gets nasty, but if you want to support like 8 different Kubernetes versions, you have no choice but to play those kinds of games. Sorry, guys, I got to jump for another meeting.
Okay.
So, but continue.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Good
yeah, we'll
topic.
try. We'll try to do this, but I mean, we're not there yet. So still
Yeah.
working with them on this.
Understand. There's a lot of things that would need to be done to like switch to a continuous integration testing environment. So yeah, but like we can try to help as much as we can.
Yeah, another thing is that they were complaining that there was no clear documentation saying, okay, what is the criteria? And there's no, it's also, I think this is also a little bit new, right? We run into this one and then because we normally wouldn't run into this, like this is kind of the first time. So that's another thing. They want to see some clear documentation saying, okay, you have to do this. You don't see all the other drivers are doing this, not just us. So I think that's another thing I was trying to, explain them why this is needed. Yeah, so that's status right now.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much for the update. Okay, do we have any other topics? All right, then we'll end for today. Thank you.